Hey everybody, it's Dan with Pain for You. Today's topic is going to be feeling emotions makes my pain or my symptoms worse. So let's talk about that, because this is very, very common and it really throws people for a loop. Before we do, we're going to do a couple of nice deep breaths, relaxing breaths, calming breaths. Get ourselves centered. Breathing is a direct line of communication to the autonomic nervous system. It's one of the only ways that we can proactively and with intention communicate directly to our nervous system, to our autonomic nervous system, and our subconscious, and convey the message that we're actually safe. It's one of the only ways. Learn to breathe. Use that as a nice tool. So, that being said, alright, do you feel how quickly you can start to calm down your body, calm down your thinking? So, get a little bit of weird sunlight popping through the shade here. So I'm going to pick this up, go by hand and find some shade so I don't have those shadows on my face. Alright, so when I feel my emotions, my pain gets worse. Yes, it can and often does happen. And so the first thing I will tell you is do not let that throw you. When we understand the purpose of TMS, the original reason why it comes up in the first place, as Dr. Sarno taught in his many books and his many lectures, is that pain or other symptoms are created as a distraction mechanism. The brain has determined that these emotions that are too overwhelming, scary, dangerous, and even don't fit with their own self-image are a predator. They're dangerous. And they must be avoided at all costs. And Sarno theorized, and I agree with him, that as these emotions start to get closer and closer to consciousness, the brain creates a diversion, a distraction, and it often comes out in the way of pain. Sometimes it comes on gradually, like you wake up with a twinge and 2 days later it gets worse and worse and worse, and before you know it, it's a full-blown problem. And in other cases, you just bend over, like me. I bent over to put on my underwear, and whammo, major back spasm. It was like a jab in the lower back. And that started 13 years of pain. So the reason for that is that there was a lot of overwhelming negative emotions that I didn't want to deal with. I was married, living in a rental, no sign of getting into a house, had a 2 or 3 year old, I forget how old my son Matt was at the time. Money was tight, stressful job. The marriage was okay, but had some challenges like most do. And I was always raised as the happy kid. Nothing ever bothered me. And so what do you think I did with all of these emotions? This anger, this frustration, this everything. I pushed it away. And at a certain point in time, things were just welling up, getting closer and closer to the surface. And I guess my brain said, it's time. You're getting too close to that real stuff. So I had that back spasm, and that started 13 years. So, what does this have to do with anything regarding feelings and pain coming up? Well, if we understand the purpose of TMS is to distract us from these emotions, and you're just beginning your process, or you are just starting to dive into this thing I call emotional discovery, and you start to do this and the pain goes up, well, when you understand TMS and the purpose of it and why it comes about in the first place, it makes complete sense. Now, most of the people get the impression that all I have to do is feel my emotions, the pain's going to go away. But wait, I felt my emotions and the pain got worse. What went wrong? Why is that happening? Oh no. And then they conclude that yes, these emotions are dangerous. I can't do that. I can't get angry. I can't get sad. I can't allow myself to do this because it makes the pain worse. And why would I ever want to do that on purpose? And so we shut down the emotions again. We stop doing the emotional discovery. We read 2, 3, 5, 7 books on TMS. We watch all the videos, but we still don't do the emotional discovery. We're too afraid of it. Why? Because first of all, you were taught that these emotions are bad, scary, dangerous, not acceptable, make you a bad person. And then once you learn about TMS, and then you experiment and you kind of try this feeling your emotions thing, and the pain gets worse. Oh, I can't do that, better stop. And it just kind of confirms that emotions are dangerous, they're bad. And so what I will tell you is that expect it. When you first start to delve into and allow yourself to feel the emotions, the right now ones, the ones about our past, about ourselves, our personalities, expect the symptoms to do weird things. And in some cases, they'll get really bad. And what you should do is smile when that happens. Say, ah, that's proof that it's TMS. If you've ever felt strong emotions, if you've ever gotten upset in life or during this process, and your symptoms have worsened, that's proof. Yes, I'm on the right track. Because if thinking about some past experiences and trying to feel our emotions causes our back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, fibromyalgia, gastrointestinal problems to worsen, merely by thinking and feeling, there's no way it's structural or physical. There's no way. And that's the best news ever, because you now have hard evidence that proves that you have TMS. Okay? So please, if you are the type who goes, but every time I feel my emotions, my symptoms get worse, that's because your brain still has not been taught that emotions are safe. It still believes they are a danger. And so it will do everything it can to keep the distraction working. And of course, if you stop feeling your emotions, distraction's working flawlessly, perfectly. And so, really, really important to look at that as a good thing, because again, it's hard evidence that it's TMS. Simply feeling emotions won't cause a structural problem to flare, but it will sometimes cause TMS to get worse. So if you approach this with knowledge and insight and a belief that, yeah, this is actually proof that it's just TMS, then the changes in the symptoms won't freak you out nearly as much. And so I will deeply encourage you, strongly encourage you, to take that as a good sign, know that you're on the right track, and then keep moving forward. Because again, this is not a healing process. There's nothing to heal. Our body is not broken. Our body does not need to heal like we do when we cut ourselves. This is a teaching process. The brain needs to learn that emotions are safe. And when it does, it will let go of this distraction method to keep you away from these emotions. Well, how do we teach the brain that emotions are safe? One, it's a decision. There's a reframe exercise that I've given out a number of times. I think the video is called Yes, Emotions Are Safe. Go look for that. But we teach the brain that emotions are safe not only by deciding that, but also by feeling them and doing it repetitively over and over and over again. So even if these emotions are very unpleasant, very saddening, very angering, let the rage out, what you're going to realize is after you do that, not only will you still be okay, the house has not blown up, the roof hasn't caved in, the earth is still spinning, the sky is still blue. You're still okay, so you're going to prove to your brain through some repetition and consistency that emotions are safe, and you're not going to let a spike in symptoms as a result of the process freak you out, because you know exactly why, and I'm sharing why this happens. So if you've ever wondered, how come the pain gets worse when I do this? This is why. And it's great news. It really is. Because it proves it's not structural. Because feeling emotions should not cause a structural problem to get worse. It just doesn't. So that's great news. So absolutely, absolutely feel your emotions. If the pain gets worse, give yourself a high five, a pat on the back, and say, I am absolutely on the right track. This is great news. And then keep going. Teach your brain through repetition and consistency that I can feel my emotions, I can cry, I can get angry, and I'm still okay. I'm a normal human being. I'm not broken, I'm not damaged for having these emotions. I don't care what your parents or your siblings or your aunt or uncle or grandmother told you. I don't care how crazy your parents may or may not have been. If you vowed never to be like my asshole father, that was me. I vowed as a young kid I don't want to ever be like him. And so I don't care how that program was created in your head. Sorry, a couple squirrels running around. I don't care how that program was created in your head. You get to decide now as an adult that emotions are okay and I'm allowed to feel them. Now I will clarify. Some people are terrified of emotions because they're afraid of what they'll do if they actually allow themselves to get angry, right? So they stuff them. They just swallow them, right? Feeling emotions is internal. Expressing emotions is sharing them, right? Sometimes expressing emotions is getting in your car and screaming. That's a great way of feeling your emotions for you, for yourself. That's called like verbal journaling, if you will, or just going on a rant. Just let it rip. Expressing emotions can be journaling. Expressing emotions can be drawing. Expressing emotions can be done through exercise. Workout, get the anger out. I used to get my emotions out by drumming. Nothing feels better than beating the crap out of a drum set, right? It's I don't know, it's healing. It feels really good to bang the shit out of those drums. And so expressing is sharing outward. But I will caution, and one of the reasons you may be concerned with feeling emotions is because you don't want to blow up at people around you. Nobody said this process was getting angry at the people around you and sharing that with them and venting and yelling at them and giving them a hard time. No, feeling is internal, expressing is sharing. Sharing is not needed, but feeling is. So if you're afraid of offending those around you and the social consequences of that, to your marriage, to your kids, to your parents, to your coworkers, you don't have to do this publicly with others to get better. But you do need to kind of feel these emotions for yourself in the privacy of your head, your heart, your home, your bathroom, your bathtub if you're taking a bath. In the bathroom, as everybody goes to the bathroom. So if something happens in a family gathering and you get really pissed off, just get up and go to the bathroom. Make that face in the mirror. Get angry. Allow it. Right? Or get sad. Wipe the tears and then go back to your family or whatever you were doing. You don't have to share, right? And I joke a little bit that sometimes expressing emotions is like vomiting the emotions on everybody around us. And that's why it can seem so scary and why so many people don't want to feel their emotions, because they don't want the social consequences. So when it relates to this, create a practice where when you feel an emotion, you give yourself permission to feel it. You don't lock it up. You don't throw it in the basement. So I did a video, it's called TMS Processes Reviewed, and I go through a bunch of emotional discovery processes. Take a look for it. Go to YouTube, Pain For You channel, use the magnifying glass and search for TMS Processes. You'll find it. So, if feeling emotions makes your symptoms worse, perfect, you're on the right track. Reframe it. Know that these are human emotions. They're meant to be felt. They're not meant to be avoided and stuffed in the basement of the subconscious. It's great news, and it's proof that it's actually TMS. And if you're on the fence between, is this TMS or, is it a real problem? If feeling your emotions makes your symptoms get worse, it's TMS. So, what do you guys think? Please comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If this is useful, please share it. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Love you guys and gals. We'll talk to you in the next video. See ya.